FTX Trial is underway, and we have all the key details. Plus, we're going to show you the best courtroom sketches. You're definitely going to want to stick around for this. Thank you for joining, folks. We got 3 phenomenal guests, including a couple first-timers on, but we're going to go ahead, start with the oldie but goodie. Thinking Crypto with the best pillows in all of YouTube. Thinking Crypto, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's awesome to be on.
All right, I love the chain link. All right, also on today, we have Myles G, does a little TA. He's got a little channel. Myles G, how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been wanting to be a part of the show for a while, and I'm glad I'm here now.
Oh, we're going to chop it up, and it's a good one to join on. And then also, we have OJ Jordan. And OJ, I know you're not American, but we're going to be talking about an American gridiron player by the name of OJ as well. Are you familiar with that story?
Kind of.
Probably not a good time to have the name OJ in the mid-90s. All right, well, let's talk about Bitcoin falling. Bitcoin's bucking like a Bronco, folks. All right, no, Bitcoin is a recent segment. We have Jim Cramer saying you got to sell all your Bitcoin. I'll pull up the price here in a second. CoinGecko's being a little weird, but the price fell below 27. Wasn't able to hold it. Right now, we're coming in at 26,759, about 2.5% to the downside here. If we could just share this chart here, you can see a nice little sell-off event. Say no. Oh, I'm gonna have to sign in a second. But yeah, on Squawk on the Street, Jim Cramer continued to spread FUD about Bitcoin. I want to give the quote here. A lot of people who watch us are searching for ways not to lose money, but to make money. I can't go out with gold because gold is not good. I can't go out with Bitcoin because Mr. Bitcoin's about to go down big. We don't know if he means just the actual flagship cryptocurrency Bitcoin, or if he's talking about Sam Bankman-Fried and just calling him Mr. Bitcoin, and maybe the bad news will make the price go down. But later on the same channel, Paul Tudor Jones, billionaire investor, he went on there, said the exact opposite, saying, no, you need to increase your Bitcoin allocation. In fact, hedge funds are about to do the same. So thinking crypto, we're seeing a little CNBC playing both sides of the fence here. They don't know what's going on. Well, what is going on with Bitcoin? Let's just talk about October. We know eventually up and to the right, but October is supposed to be Uptober. It's looking like Downtober. What's the rest of the month? We got about 20 days left. What's the next 3 weeks looking like for Bitcoin, do you think?
I think more volatility. Honestly, I'm not a believer in Uptober. I know historically some of the statistics have shown that. I'm a believer in the Bitcoin halving, and that's what I'm prepping for. Honestly and truthfully, I bought some of the dip this morning with Bitcoin's price going down, a dollar cost averaging, and I have the macro view, the long-term view, and I'm expecting certainly a move upwards as we head towards the halving, and we could potentially see some Bitcoin spot ETFs approved. But to your point of Paul Tudor Jones, I spoke about it on my podcast yesterday. The last time Paul Tudor Jones came out this bullish on Bitcoin was in May of 2020. And that was the signal he put up. And then Stan Druckenmiller and Bill Miller and all these guys started following suit. And I think they are getting ready to go long. And I think they know the spot ETF approvals are around the corner. The halving is coming up. So it's just a matter of time. I don't care what the hell happens this month. I'm looking forward to the halving next year.
All right. Me too. And yeah, if you put in that 3-year, 10-month cycle, we're really not that far away from the May timeline. It'd be roughly February. So November, December, January, about 4 months away from that same exact period in the 4-year cycle. Now, Myles, I heard you do a little TA. I'm kind of interested in what are the charts telling you, because I kind of agree with thinking crypto. I'm more of a 4-year cycle guy, but some people, they're just strictly candle people. They only like to go by the candles. What are the candles saying, Myles?
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look.
Oh,
are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah. I see a little line going up and to the right. Bitcoin's just going to bounce on that forever, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, although there is a lot of bullish narratives right now taking place for cryptocurrencies, the most important thing to pay attention to is equities and how the equities market is moving. We are in a very high interest rate environment, and that is not good for the economy or the stock market, which cryptos have a very strong correlation to the stock market, despite any type of narrative where there's some type of decoupling narrative, which I do think will take place at some point in the future. But if we zoom out and take a look at equities, we are forming a lower high in equities. And in the short term, it does look like we are going to continue heading down. So we are seeing some bearish price action with equities, lower highs. We also take a look at the dollar, which is a great indication to see typically where equities and cryptos are going to go. The dollar is very strong and it's trending upwards, which when the dollar trends upwards, we will see a very strong inverse correlation with stocks, equities, cryptos, whatever you want to call it. But there is also a possible narrative that, you know, the dollar could be possibly topping out here and continue going down, which if this were to be the case, we would see equities continue going up, and we would also see more likely cryptos going up at the same time. But from what we're seeing, we're in a very high interest rate environment, which is bearish. And although the Fed is likely to stop raising rates, that's not a very bullish thing because rates are still very high. And until rates actually start to get cut and come down, that's not when the market's going to bottom. And the markets typically bottom in, you know, a rate raising cycle when the Fed pivots, and not until after they pivot is when the markets will typically bottom out. And we do understand that the markets are forward looking and the economy is still very strong from what we can see from the jobs data, but inflation is very high and the Fed is going to do whatever they can to get inflation down to their 2% target, which means they could raise rates higher. They might raise rates again and sustain these high rates, this high interest rate environment, which is not going to be good in the long run. I mean, in the short term. But all of that is short term. The Fed is going to cut rates. They are going to pause rates and the economy is going to boom again. So there is like a saying that my dad told me, you know, when rates are high, stocks will die. And we are in a high rate environment. However, there's a lot of bullish narratives for cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin with the Bitcoin ETF. We have the halving around the corner. But as far as Bitcoin is concerned, just taking a look at TA here, we are seeing Bitcoin did top out around 32,000, which was a previous support level. And Bitcoin has had great difficulty in trying to break above this level. And what we are seeing now is a very strong rejection. We had a strong rejection last year, unable to break above. Strong rejection here, which leads to a significant correction. Another strong rejection, unable to break it and hold above 32,000, which if we just take a look at this chart here, we are just in a range. And a range is when the price bounces back between support and resistance. And the logical thing, honestly, with this strong rejection, and if equities continue to go down, the dollar continues to trend up. For me personally, I think cryptos will probably end up coming down to the support level, which is the yearly open to like $15,000. I think that is a possibility. That is a bit extreme, however. But what I do think is realistic is that Bitcoin could possibly come down to this $19,000 to $20,000 level at the minimum, and potentially bottom out and be accumulated. And then we could, you know, start heading up and towards pricing into the halving. The market's going to start pricing into rates being cut and a Fed pivot. But if we just zoom in here a little bit further, what we can see is that Bitcoin has just broken down from this key trend line here as we've been trending up the last couple of weeks. We're starting to break down from here. We're also rejecting very clearly off these previous highs and getting rejected, unable to close above here. Mm-hmm. So it's very likely, in my opinion, that Bitcoin's probably going to come down to like this $25,000 level. And this is going to be the third time within this range that Bitcoin's testing it, which is a likely possible time that it's going to break it, which would possibly send us, you know, to this 21 or 19 to $22,000 region. I think that this is a very key level where we will probably find a lot of demand institutionally and through traders around the world. So this is kind of like the level looking at. Of course, there is a bullish scenario where if Bitcoin breaks above $28,000, we start holding above this level here, we could easily test 30,000, 32,000, and potentially beyond. So I'm more bearish, but open to the bullish scenarios as well.
All right, home on the range. I'm going to take away your dad's saying there, when stocks are high. No, when rates are high, stocks will die. But I tell you what, Bitcoin and Chainlink, I can't help but buy. All right, well, OJ, we went a little long there, but I do want to ask you, OJ, you know, kind of what your thoughts are. First time on the show, what are your thoughts for Bitcoin over the next, say, 2 years? Are you a believer in the 4-year cycle? And, you know, kind of what are just some of the broad ranges you're looking at? Personally, I'll go ahead and I'll jump in the water first. I don't think we can go above 100, but I do think we go above 90K. What are you thinking here?
This is very conservative. I'm actually happy to hear that because most of the people that make predictions, they usually go for really big numbers, right? We hear
250,000,
300,000 all the
500,000.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm to you. I'm around 100K but I do feel that we're going to get perhaps 110. We can even go to 108, which would be just a test. When we make these new all-time highs, we usually a little bit higher than a round number, and that for briefly though. So, but thing to happen again. My target bull market was around 80,000. We got very close. We got to 70,
11,000
so we got
away.
very
Yeah.
close. So, and everyone was talking about 150, 100,000. I was thinking 80, but I still managed to get it right, though. I mean, this bull market, I thought that it might actually go to around 30, and it went to 20. So I've learned my lesson. I don't really want to jump too high. I feel 100, 110 is reasonable to expect.
All right, 110 to 100K. All right, pretty fair assessment there. All right, well, let's talk about the NFL and NFTs. It's a little bit different. I know we covered a similar story a couple weeks ago, but this is a little bit different. This is for retired players. There's a lot of issues with the NFL when it comes to what happens to your money. A lot of bankruptcies. A lot of people have struggled paying their bills in the long term there. But so we have this new drop. It's coming out from the NFL Alumni Association, and they're hoping veteran players. They launched in 1967, and it's the oldest retired player organization in all of professional sports across the entire globe there. Thousands of retired players, coaches, I didn't know they're in there, front office executives, spouses, and cheerleaders. We're actually going to, let's just go ahead and show it. We actually have a sneak peek of the retired players' favorite moments, folks. Sit down, get ready, grab some popcorn. I think we have about 3 or 4 of them. All right, let's go ahead and lead into it. What's our first one here, Owen? Oh, man, that's Colin's first kneel. Could we go back to the previous one we just saw? What was that? Yeah, we have Tom Brady in a deflated football. Guys, again, these are just retired players' moments. All right, so that's 2. Oh, no, too soon. Too soon. That's Michael Vick and his dog in happier times, folks. I apologize for that one. I think we have, oh, no, not OJ. Another famous moment. Please tell me that's all. Please tell me. Is that all, Owen? Nod your head. Yeah. Is that it? Okay. Whew. I'm sweating off the last couple ones there. But the NFTs, they're going to depict the on-field moments from retired players. Oh, it says on-field moments. Oh, I think I misconstrued the assignment there. All right. Well, thinking crypto. Well, what are your thoughts on what the NFL and their issues with players running out of money? Should the NFL be doing more, or would it, at a certain point, would it feel like they're trying to control the players' money?
Certainly as these players retire, their light starts to dim, so to speak, in the public eye and the opportunities that they may have. And that the fact that they can create these secondary markets with NFTs and be able to maybe provide some new financial opportunities, I think is really great. And it speaks to the larger use cases around NFTs, even for creators such as ourselves, being able to monetize and have new revenue streams, I think is pretty incredible. And the secondary markets that come with that. So depending on which NFTs you own, how is it programmed, what experiences does it unlock, I think these are all great ideas and great opportunities. So I like it. It's always, of course, depends on the details. The devil's in the details and how they execute on it. What are the royalties and the deals and so forth. But if it's from a good motive perspective and trying to help some of these retired folks to earn off their brand and their history of playing and so forth, I think that's awesome.
All right. I do want to share one tidbit I kind of miss here. I don't know if we could share the screen here. It's on Polkadot. So all the Polkadot fans out there, it's going to be a Polkadot NFT. It's not going to be on Ethereum. All right. Now, Myles, do you have a favorite moment? It could be one of the examples. And how do you think this NFT is going to fare? Is it going to do well? Is it maybe a little bit of a flop, like a bad player trying to get a flag?
I think they'll do good based on the player, and their popularity and how much their fan base is. I think it'll do well, and it'll certainly provide a good extra stream of revenue and income to them. And they could potentially replace old cards, the old football cards, baseball cards, and stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite moment? I don't know if you watch football or anything. I was going to say Michael Irvin getting caught with his glass pipe. But what about you?
I can't recall like a favorite moment off the top of my head. I haven't watched football in the past 2 years. Been really busy with crypto.
Was it since Collins first kneel? I'm just joking. For a variety of reasons. Folks. All right, OJ. I understand you're probably not a football fan. It's mostly an American thing. I think you call it American gridiron over there. Football is soccer. I want to ask you more about just the model here. So the model is essentially we're going to have a player who's going to benefit from the NFT. Do you think someone's more likely? We'll just say soccer for the example here. Someone more likely to buy a Pele NFT if they knew the funds went to the family, or do just speculators really not care at the end of the day?
I think with the NFTs, it's still in the hands of speculators mostly. I think that during the next bull, we might actually have a decent revival of NFT. Other people start, interested and involved and everything. I think this is a good initiative. Of course, it is a great initiative, to see, that kind of support. But I'm not sure that NFTs is necessarily the right niche for them. Also, because people who are collectors of these things, a lot of the times they're of age that is still not involved in NFTs, right? The youth, I think we are moving into digital anyway, so definitely the youth is going to be into NFTs, and if they decent revival over the next bull run, they can be here to stay. I don't think they're finished, but currently nobody wants to touch NFTs.
Yeah, trust me. I know. I have a mutant ape. Trust me, I know. All right. Let's get into the fun topic here, the FTX trial. Yeah, let me share a couple facts, and we'll share our favorite sketches from the courtroom here. It's underway, and we're now at the exciting part, which is Sam Bankman-Fried's ex-girlfriend, Caroline Ellison's testimony time. She is the star witness. First bombshell. We got a few bombshells. First one, Caroline accuses Sam of specifically directing her to steal customer assets to pay off Alameda debts there. Quote, Sam directed me to commit these crimes. Second bombshell, she said SBF directed her to send fake balance sheets to lenders that made Alameda's losses look less risky, aka lie. And then finally here, Alameda made $5 billion in personal loans to the executives. Much of these funds were for the lavish Bahamas properties. Hey, you got to live good when you're on the island. That polycule, that room kind of stank. We had to get a new spot there. And it is important to remember, SBF, they had his bail revoked because he was doing witness tampering. What was the claim there? Sharing Caroline Ellison's diary. He shared his ex-girlfriend's diary. So a lot to unpack here. Thinking crypto. Let me read the quote one more time. Sam directed me to commit these crimes. Well, if you were to assign blame to one individual, who is more at fault? Is it Caroline, who was the CEO, or is SBF, who's telling her what to do?
I will lean towards SBF, and here's why. I think the history of their relationship and how he knew these folks, Nishad, Gary, and so forth, they were friends. So I think they put their trust in Sam, and obviously it was Sam's business. He built it, and obviously had a lot of success at Jane Street and using the arbitrage, with Bitcoin's price between Japan dollars and US dollars. So he had a decent track record in building the business. Obviously, he went off the way, right? And he committed a ton of fraud. Now, obviously, one could argue Caroline and these folks could have said, hey, I'm done with this. I'm getting out of here. But I'm sure they were enjoying the big bonuses. Caroline's bonus, I believe, was $20 million in 2021. I think that was probably the incentive of let's keep listening to Sam and keep doing all these shady activities. But ultimately, the head of the snake was Sam Bankman-Fried, and he was running the show.
Running the show. Well, let's run up to these pictures. Guys, we're going to show our favorite sketches from the courtroom because the judge isn't allowing any televised content to come out. So, number one, hey, man, look at those traps. It's kind of looking jacked right there. There's Sam Bankman-Fried looking like Ashton Kutcher. We have a few more here. There's Edward Munch's The Scream, I think. Oh, wait, no, that's Caroline. We have a few more here. Pointing out Sam, who's, Kind of looking like Mo Gislak from The Simpsons there. Pointing right at him. It was him. I think we have 2 more. All right, here's more. Nice little laptop open with some Sam Bankman-Fried. I think Gary Wang on the photo. Look at her eyebrows on the right. She's clearly distraught here. I think we have 1 or 2 more. And then there's the best one, folks. That's the most realistic one. So that's my personal favorite. Let us know what you think of the art here. Now, Myles, she sent out fake balance sheets. What are your thoughts on that specific charge?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate to discover, like, the things that they were doing with all these their investors' money. You know, us who use the platform, people who use the platform. It's just very shady, and you know, she's definitely liable and she's guilty for participating, because it does seem like she was fully aware and fully knowledgeable in, like, what they were doing. But just like Thinking Crypto said, she trusted in him and thought that he could possibly make it right, and they couldn't get caught.
Is that I can't tell. It almost looks like a Doge t-shirt. I see a D, an O, maybe it's an R. I can't tell if it's a G. Not a Doge shirt, right? Can you confirm?
Nah,
Okay, not a
Doge.
Doge shirt. Not a Doge. Maybe it said Dro. I don't know. All right, OJ, I want to ask you a fun question here. This is pure speculation. I don't think, you're privy to the details. I don't think you broke into Caroline's bedroom here. How do you think Sam Bankman-Fried got his hands on Caroline Ellison's diary and was able to give it to the New York Times?
To be honest, I think that he probably had it the whole time. It's most likely she just didn't take it with her when. I'm not sure how it happened when they got arrested. Did she get arrested first? What was the case? I can't remember. But I mean, he did get out of on bail time. And it's possible that she just got released. She couldn't go to that house and pick up certain things like the diary. I don't think he would have gotten any other way. It was probably in his house the whole time. They were living together and all of that, and it was easy. I mean, it's a physical diary and digital as well. Of course, the digital is easy, but for the physical diary, I feel it just didn't leave his house.
Look right under the pillow. Hey, there it goes. Hide it. Hey, it's missing. It must have been the housekeeper. Again, all speculation, folks. We don't know. Guys, I hope you had a fun time with the NFL thing. We didn't mean to poke any insensitive issues right there. I love dogs. We love dogs. We all love dogs. We're not trying to make fun of the Michael Vick situation. And isn't it telling we're more concerned about Michael Vick's dog than we were Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. But, I digress. That's another philosophical question there. But it looks like we ran out of time. And Myles, you did great. OJ, you did great. But Thinking Crypto, he's got the reps. He ended up taking it home. So Thinking Crypto, feel free. Could you leave us with some parting thoughts?
Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried needs to go to jail for life. They got to lock him away, man. Needs to be done. The market needs to turn the corner. We got to mature from here, and we need better exchanges. Certainly, I think Coinbase is a leader in that space, but we need more exchanges, full transparency, audits, proper custody, and put Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX in jail, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Guys, make sure you check out Linqto. We have the link in the description below. They might reopen the Ripple IPO. That's going to be huge. It sold out fast last time. You want to get in on that, make sure you check that out. And also, Myles putting out great TA content. He's got a great YouTube. Also, same thing for OJ Jordan. You can see their names right there. So I highly recommend check out their description. Check out their links. Thinking Crypto, same thing. Always putting out great content. So please show them that little bit of the Around the Blockchain love. Let's get them a little subscriber bump. That's all we got. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And people, hide your diaries. That's all we got.